A 175-pound Cane Corso was returned to a shelter outside Richmond, Virginia, 3 times for the same strange reason. He would not sleep through the night. Every family that took him complained of it. The enormous dog would not settle in the dark. He roamed, he paced, he got up again and again through the night, restless and watchful when he should have been asleep, and after a few weeks of a 175-pound dog who disturbed their nights, all 3 families brought him back. He was labeled difficult, restless, a dog with a problem nobody could fix. He sat in that shelter between returns for a total of 121 days, a magnificent animal that no one could live with because he would not sleep, passed over and sent back, his reputation following him on his card. Then a woman who could not safely sleep alone took the dog who would not sleep, and what he did in the dark at 3 a.m. every single night turned out to be the reason she is alive. Bruno was a Cane Corso, a 175 pounds, jet black, powerfully built, with the alert, watchful nature the breed is known for. There was nothing wrong with him medically. He was healthy, sound, and by day a calm and loving dog. It was only at night that the problem showed. The restlessness, the refusal to settle, the way Bruno would rise in the dark and move through the house and seem unable to simply sleep the night through like a normal dog. 3 families had tried and given up, unwilling to share their home with a giant dog who kept them awake. And so Bruno, who had done nothing wrong that anyone could name, sat in a kennel with a note on his card that made him nearly impossible to place: does not sleep through the night, returned multiple times. The staff did not understand it either. They only knew that a wonderful dog kept coming back for a reason none of them could solve. He was 4 years old, in perfect health, a beautiful purebred who should have been adopted in a day, and instead he had spent 121 days across 3 failed homes, sent back each time for a habit no one could cure. Nora Feldman was 38 and lived alone, and she had a condition that made sleeping alone genuinely dangerous. At 38, she had severe obstructive sleep apnea, the serious kind, where her breathing would stop 20 or 30 times an hour in her sleep, sometimes for dangerously long stretches, her body struggling for air in the middle of the night without her ever fully waking. She used a machine to help her breathe at night, but it did not always work perfectly, and her doctors had warned that severe untreated episodes carried real risks, that the nights were when her condition was most dangerous, and that living alone meant no one would notice if a night went badly wrong. She had organized her life around the danger, but the fear remained, the specific dread of the dark hours, of stopping breathing with no one there. I still see you haven't subscribed. Bruno was returned 3 times for the one thing that made him perfect for Nora, and in a minute you'll see what he does at 3 a.m. Tap subscribe first. She had not gone to the shelter expecting a giant dog. She had gone for company because the nights alone were long and frightening, and she wanted something warm and living in the house with her. She was looking at the calmer dogs when a volunteer almost apologetically told her about the Cane Corso returned 3 times because he would not sleep through the night. Nora stopped. A dog who stayed awake at night? She asked to meet him, and when the huge black dog was brought to her, he leaned his massive head against her and looked up with calm, intelligent eyes, and something about him felt, to her, like the answer to a question she had been afraid to ask. She adopted the dog nobody could live with that afternoon. His name was Bruno. Bruno moved into Nora's house, and something remarkable happened almost immediately, something no one in 3 previous homes had ever understood. Because the thing that had made Bruno impossible to live with, his refusal to sleep through the night, his watchfulness in the dark, was not a flaw at all. It was a gift, and it had simply never had a purpose before. In Nora's house, at last, it did. Bruno bonded to her instantly and completely, 175 pounds of devotion, and he attached himself to her side and would not leave it. And at night, when Nora slept, Bruno kept his watch. The dog who would not sleep had found at last someone worth staying awake for. And what Bruno did in the dark was extraordinary. Bruno slept beside her bed, but lightly, always half awake, always aware of her. And every night, in the small hours, when Nora's breathing stopped the way it did, when her body went silent and still and struggled for air, Bruno knew. Some deep instinct in him registered the silence where there should have been breath, and he would rise and nudge her, push at her, press his great head against her until she stirred and gasped and started breathing again. Night after night, at 3 a.m. in the deepest dark, the dog 3 families had returned for his restlessness stood watch over a woman who stopped breathing dozens of times a night and woke her every single time. The restlessness was never a defect. It was a dog who was born to keep watch in the night, waiting his whole life for the one person whose life depended on exactly that. If you have ever been kept safe through the night by something that refused to sleep so that you could, you already know what this felt like. The months passed, and Nora, for the first time in years, was not afraid of the dark hours because she was no longer alone in them. She had a guardian, a 175-pound Cane Corso, who stayed awake through the night and woke her the dozens of times she stopped breathing. She began to understand what her dog was doing, and she wept at the wonder of it, that the dog everyone had sent back for the crime of not sleeping had been all along exactly the guardian a woman with sleep apnea had needed and never had. She had her medical equipment, but she had something more now, something no machine could be, a living, devoted watchman who would not fail. And then, on one particular night, that watchman proved just how much he was worth. It was the middle of the night, and Nora was deep in sleep when her breathing machine, the equipment she relied on, malfunctioned and stopped working. Without it, and in the grip of a severe apnea episode, her breathing stopped and did not restart on its own. Her body starved of air in the dark, in exactly the scenario her doctors had warned was most dangerous: alone, asleep, not breathing, with no machine to help her, and no way to wake herself. It was the night that could have killed her, but she was not alone. And Bruno did the thing that saved her. The great dog knew at once that this was worse than the usual nightly episode, that her person had stopped breathing and was not starting again, and 175 pounds of Cane Corso erupted into action. Bruno nudged her hard, then harder, pawing and pushing and pressing his enormous weight against her, and when she did not wake, he did more. Bruno barked, huge and thunderous in the silent house, right beside her, an enormous sound designed to wake the dead, and he shoved at her with his whole body, refusing to stop, until Nora came awake with a desperate gasp, her body dragging in air, roused by a frantic 175-pound Cane Corso when her own body and her failed machine could not do it. She woke, and she breathed, and she fixed the machine with shaking hands, and she wrapped her arms around the enormous dog who had just kept her alive. Had Bruno slept through the night like the normal dog 3 families had wanted, Nora would not have woken up at all. The next day, her doctor confirmed what she already understood in her bones, that after more than 90 seconds without air, a severe apnea episode with a failed machine, alone and asleep, could absolutely have been fatal, and that the dog who woke her when she stopped breathing had, without a doubt, saved her life. The same 175-pound Cane Corso that 3 families returned, the same dog sent back again and again for refusing to sleep through the night, the restless one, the one nobody could live with, the one nobody wanted, the same restless dog 3 homes had sent back for the dark. He was not difficult and he was not defective. He had been rejected over and over for the one trait, his wakeful watchfulness in the dark, that made him the perfect guardian for a woman whose life depended on someone noticing when she stopped breathing at night. And the first person who needed exactly what he was got a watchman who kept her alive in the dark, night after night. He had been returned for staying awake. Staying awake was the whole reason she survived. Nora told their story, and it spread far past Richmond because the idea of a dog rejected for a flaw that was secretly a gift moved everyone who heard it. The shelter was flooded with people asking about the difficult dogs, the returned ones, the ones with a habit nobody understood. 8 dogs that had been sent back more than once, some returned 3 or 4 times, found homes in the 3 weeks after it spread. Today, Nora is well and no longer afraid of the nights because a devoted Cane Corso still keeps his watch over her in the dark. Bruno is older now, gray coming into his black muzzle, but still exactly where he has always been, beside her bed, awake in the small hours, watching her breathe. Bruno still wakes her when she needs it. He still will not truly sleep while she does. And every single night at 3 a.m., a 175-pound Cane Corso still keeps the wakeful watch that 3 families called a defect, still guards the breath of the woman who finally understood what he was for. Because as far as Bruno is concerned, staying awake through the night for the one person who needed him too is the whole reason he was born. We look at a dog with a strange habit, a restlessness, a quirk we cannot live with, and we decide he is difficult, defective, not worth the trouble, and we send him back. We never once ask whether the very thing we cannot tolerate might be the exact thing that will one day save a life, whether the flaw might be a gift still waiting for its purpose. Sometimes the dog nobody could live with is the only one who can keep you alive. So tell me, was Bruno difficult? Or did the dog nobody could live with turn out to be the only one who could save her? Drop your answer in the comments. And if a dog ever watched over you in the dark, say his name below.